somewhere on the camera, so I cannot.
Yeah. You're getting better now. There you go. Oops.
I've even come outside,
Yeah, you are
Yeah.
good now.
outdoor, but then the outdoor is still very hazy, right?
Yeah, but you are
Yes.
you are good just 2 minutes before. Few minutes
Yeah.
before
If you
you are
go back to where you were, that was much better.
few
If you go
seconds.
back a little bit, couple of
Yeah,
steps back.
that's
Yeah,
much
Yeah,
better.
that's fine. That's fine right there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's fine.
yeah. Welcome to our new global media talk show. Today is March 2nd, 2025. Today we're going to be discussing the political landscape of the Gambia, and we have our guest here, Alhaji Mamadi Kurang. Mamadi, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me in this discussion. I'm
Thank
sorry about the lightning or whatever on my
you.
phone, but
It's
then
almost perfect
hopefully,
now.
Yeah,
yeah.
you're great
Getting
now.
better.
Yeah. So I have
Okay.
my co-host here, Sam Ceesay. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I also have my other co-host, Usman Camara. Usman, welcome.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Sawaneh. Thank you so very much, Mr. Ceesay. Thank you so very much, Mr. Kurang. I'm live now. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mr. Kura, we're gonna just jump right into it. The political landscape of the Gambia. If you can, just jump in and then let us know what are the political landscape of the Gambia, and also we will be asking questions and making comments as we go along. But you
Uh,
can
the, the-
introduce
if you say
yourself.
the political landscape, that's a very, very wide
But
topic.
Yep.
But then, as far as
Yes.
I can glean from what you're trying to look at, well, we are faced with a number of issues. Number one, there is a constitution that is hanging, which I think if it is passed, it's going to mean something. If it is not passed, it's still going to mean something. So the destiny of the country will be different depending on whether it is passed or not passed and how it is passed if it is passed. So I think this is a very significant variable hanging in the air. Obviously, we have the 2026 coming, and I think still the nature of the what is going to happen is not very certain, depending on what are the things that may happen, etc. Yeah, I think these are some of the issues on the landscape at the moment.
okay, Mr. Kura, before we go any further in the political landscape of the Gambia, which is a little bit one of topic, we're gonna tailor it down. Well, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and then how I mean like what can we learn from you?
Oh yeah, obviously, I'm a politician. Before being a politician, I've been a teacher running an institute that I founded, Jollof Tutors, for the past 20 something years, since 2000. That's like almost 25 years now. I have done a number of other assignments while working at Jollof Tutors. I've been a financial consultant. I have worked, obviously, in the Jani Commission as a secretary. And yeah, I mean, I'm an accountant, a chartered accountant by training, and I also studied economics at the university. And yeah, I mean, I came from Nyamina. I hail from Nyamina. I attended St. Augustine's High School, and then went to study in Malaysia.
Good. You seem to have a very strong background in terms of economics, in terms of
Yep.
how definitely this you are at the better place right here to get this
Absolutely.
yeah.
And welcome to
So
this show.
Thank you. Thank you.
you mentioned something about constitution. And of course, if it is passed, if it is not passed, it has a meaning. So we're gonna break down into like different sections. So I think let's hit the constitution and also like the political parties as well. Like what is the tempo in there? Do we have a winning? Do we have a candidate that can fix our problems, or is it a bunch of same old stuff? happening again. So, but Constitution, I know Dabo and then President Barrow had a meeting, and the speculation was that Dabo is still saying that if that old Constitution comes to the parliament can decide, what to do with it. But he's not going for Barrow's constitution, what is called Barrow's constitution. That was something that was in the news. And I know President Barrow, also stated that his supporters stated that, or at the Attorney General, that Constitution 2024 Constitution was an agreed constitution, agreed thought from the meeting they had in Abuja or in Nigeria years ago. I mean, like among political stakeholders. So these are the two diverse views. And I know Barrow said that President Barrow said that the stakeholders such as Dabo is needed to be at the table, for this constitution to be passed. Can you give us a synopsis of what is going on, what has transpired, and what do you think the end game would be?
Yeah, I mean, I think the end game will be difficult to say because it seems that each one of them is entrenched in their opinion or whatever they think is their position. I know, like you said, they've been to Abuja where they had a dialogue. So, and I was expecting that if in the Abuja conference they had a sticking point with issue 1, 2, 3, the focus of the discussion should be about the sticking points. But if you go to Abuja and had a discussion and you had a sticking point about 1, 2, 3, and I'm sure it was not many points that were sticking in Abuja. And then we come back again, and now we are not even talking about the sticking points, but people are talking about 2020 constitution or draft, 2024 draft. For me, it doesn't matter which draft. If you take a 2020 draft and go to parliament, you are expected to amend. Well, if you take a 2024 draft and go to parliament, you still expected to amend. What you amend is based on the differences that you have among yourselves. So why don't you just come out and tell the population, these are the key sticking points, and this is what we would accept, and this is what we would not accept, rather than telling people are talking about 2024 and 2020. I think I see that a lot of the key contenders are running away from responsibility. People just want to come out of the argument victorious to say, okay, yeah, he is the one to blame. Maybe Dabo is the one to blame because he refused to agree to our draft, or Barrow is the one to blame because he agreed to our draft. I hear words like, well, we spent 100 million. It doesn't matter what you spend. What you spend as an accountant, we call it sunk cost. It's already spent. The issue here is Gambians want a constitution. What are the differences between the parties? Can we bring out those differences and see who agrees with what and who disagrees with what? The issue of the negotiation should happen in the parliament. Well, yes, I understand the fact that the two party leaders can meet because they have the votes, which is logical. They have the votes. But, that even makes it a little bit tricky because it's like the party is negotiating based on one stance. Bring this, or that we will not agree. And the other one is saying, no, this is it, or we will not agree. So, in the end, the actual debate, the citizenship is prevented or being prevented from hearing the actual debate that should happen in parliament, where the bill will come out, and point by point, we will watch our parliamentarians that we voted for argue and disagree, right, on point by point basis, and the citizenry can see, why did you disagree on this point and you agreed on that point? Important, because when we come to vote again, we need to vote them based on what they have done and what is their stance on key issues. But if the politicians are negotiating in a way that the citizens will not even know in a formal setting like in parliament what is their stance on key issues, I think we are just taken for granted by both sides.
Yeah, I want to stop you right there before some comment, because the way we're gonna be doing this, we wanna once you cover the point, I think we should just come in quickly. I mean, like, and then say something, and then you go back. So you saying that having the meeting closed doors between two politicians kind of sparked the interest of each party. That's why they're probably neglecting the mass. I can say people in the middle. So this is very important because it also take away the debate process that is happening behind closed doors. If I'm understanding, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, what I am saying is, in essence, there is no problem with two political leaders meeting, because the reality is that, well, their parties carry the votes to get it passed. But I'm saying that if that meeting or such meetings like that, this one or the one in Abuja, are going to be the be all and the end all of this political debate, that's unfortunate. It can be part of the process, but the citizenry has the right to hear from the parliamentarians on what is their point of observation on each one of the sticking points of the Constitution in a formal setting, according to the process that is determined by the Constitution in the Parliament. So I am saying that whatever draft it is, they should go to Parliament and discuss and say why they agree or disagree on each one of the points, and vote based on the points, or both decide to pass it or not to pass it. But a constitution cannot be, that's like hijacking the process to say that it is, I mean, just one statement, the constitution is dismissed, meaning bring 2024, or it is 2024 or we are out, or it is 2020 we are out, or we are out. I mean, I think that's too cheap for me.
Yeah. So that okay, and then that's what we are hearing. That was sounding like. And Barrow also is sounding like Barrow's team. I can say is sounding like that 2020 is don't bring that out. 2020, don't bring it out. Otherwise, we are not. If we bring it, we are not in. So it's like each and every two. I mean, two of these folks or two of these leaders, party leaders, are saying bring this one out, or we are in, and bring this one in, otherwise we are out. This one is saying bring this one in, otherwise we are out. Now, before Sam comes in, because we gotta, try to finish the constitution, and we move to another political landscape. Um, if this constitution is not passed, what is the fate of Gambia?
Yeah, I think if this constitution is not passed, it's going to mean a lot of things.
If no constitution is passed this year, how do we see it?
It's like, if it is not passed, one, we have the 1997 constitution, which will continue to rule. So, number one, obviously, it means that the idea of a third republic that we voted for in the 2016 constitution will still not be materialized. Right? Number two, it means that many of the things that people wish for that were brought under the dictatorship will still be with us, meaning there is absolute power for whoever, is ruling, because it's more like an absolute presidency that Drammeh tried to ingrain in the 1997 constitution. So if it is not passed, that will continue, and then the incumbent continues to lavish in that kind of political atmosphere or constitutional atmosphere. The other thing is that there are very key clauses that, maybe even both sides agree on, according to what they say, and those key clauses would not come to play simply because they have allowed the clauses that they disagreed on to cloud the whole situation. So I'll give you an example, right? Both sides said Well, we agree on 50+1, okay? And then, yeah, okay, you NPP say they agree, Barrow say he agreed, Dabo say he agrees. But then 50+1 will not be implemented. It's in the 2024 constitution and it's in draft and it's in the 2020 draft. But it will still not come to play if both parties keep their positions. While they both agree on it, the Gambians will not enjoy it simply because they have disagreed on other things. So this is an example. They both agreed maybe on citizenship law, that in order to be a citizen, you need to be this is the condition. Maybe they both agreed on the conditions for citizenship. But that citizenship law will not take place because they are disagreed on term limit. You get what I'm saying? So the whole debate has been reduced to term limit, which is ridiculous. Why? Because if we disagree with all these good points, and all these good points come not to be implemented, we'll be left with the 1997 constitution, which still says no term limit. So those who are arguing for term limit and saying there must be term limit, now if they block the constitution, then there won't be no term limit. So either way, you have put in no term limit. You get my point? So I mean, then what are we looking for? So that's why some people say, you see, it's even possible that both parties, right, prefer the key stakeholders still prefer the 1997 constitution, because whoever, if you have a hope of being voted in, if you are voted in, you go and grab the absolute power. And I mean, how would I disagree with that? You know, there are certain clauses that were changed while the UDP were in power. For example, the age limit, they managed to change it. The entrenchment and protection of the politicians when they cross over from one party to another, they managed to manipulate that also. So basically, they are both sitting very comfortably with some of the key things. And you know, if you are convicted for whatever reason, then you are not going to be able to stand the presidency. All those clauses were removed. So nobody is having so much of their political career at risk. Both in the UDP and in the NPP, the incumbent politicians are not having their political careers at risk because the age limit was a risk to them. The cross-carpeting law was a risk to them. The conviction was a risk to them. All those things are removed. So why would they? Why would the UDP want to a new constitution when the 1997 is always good for the incumbent? And why would Barrow want it if 1997 is more juicy for the incumbent?
Good points, Zach. Can I come in? I have 3 minutes. I have to get off and start a hometown call here, but you guys can continue. But thank you, Mr. Kurang. Definitely, you made some very good points. You know, and my point of view is, I think both parties and all political parties need to look at the end user, the end result. You know, where is this all going to end? It's all going to end in a referendum. So if we think about it, we need to look at what is likely to pass. And if you think about what is likely to pass is the 2020 draft, because they did consultations. They went around the whole country. They went to the diaspora. They talked to people, a lot of people in groups of people, different settings. And all of those people said this, and that. They wanted certain things in the Constitution and certain things removed. So after that institution, the Constitution Commission really put that together. In my mind, is not the perfect constitution. We don't have a perfect constitution, and we're not going to have a perfect one. But that stands out better than all three. Better than the 1997. It will be better than the 2024. So there's likely that people will vote for the 2020 than the 2024 draft, because 2024 draft is meant for certain things that were meant to really empower the president and his government. and people did not vote for that. So if we waste all this time and money and go in for the 2024, at the end of the day, when it goes to referendum, people can say no, and we're going back to drawing board, which means 1997 Constitution will continue. So I think a word to the wise is really stick with the 2020 Constitution and try to pass that. Whatever needs to happen, take it to the National Assembly, let them try. And if there should be any amendment, get it there and then pass it and then go to referendum. Most likely that will pass. So I would say that they shouldn't waste their time trying to debate whether 2024 or 2020. Take the 2020 draft constitution that was put together by the people. And that's what democracy is. But I'm going to get off here because unfortunately, I wish I can stay and we talk more about these. But Mr. Kurang, we really appreciate your time very much. I'm sure we'll find another time to get you back on here and where we can talk more politics. But until then.
This is a seasoned politician, and that this is we are moving.
Political. Until then, you guys can continue.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Kura, now you know it's gonna be more interesting even. Since Ousman and Sam are no longer with us, so we can do this one-on-one. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the Gambia fate is on this constitution.
Yeah.
I always say, if it is come to the term limit, it's better to have it than not to have it. Okay, because if we don't have it, and if we don't, this constitution, if it is not passed, that means we don't have any term limit moving forward. So, would we want term limit? With other conditions that we can change later, or we don't. We will be okay with no term limit and stay with the 1997 constitution. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you ask every Gambian, we will say that yes, everybody wants the term limit. I think everybody is looking for a term limit, and like Ceesay just expounded, we know what happened already. They went to Abuja. I mean, the constitution a constitution is supposed to be ideal, but obviously, if you vote people in and you give them the parliamentary powers, well, you kind of put yourself in a situation whereby, they represent you, and together with their own individual interests, whatever comes before them, they view it, maybe in your interest and also in their individual interests. And if you feel they do something later that is not palatable to you, you can always recall or vote them out. But in the meantime, while they are there, then they do what they feel like is in their interest. So they went to Abuja, and there was a negotiation, and I think the sticking point was the term limit, isn't it?
Right. But the simple term limit, yeah.
Okay, now so the question is the other side, which is the NPP, given a mandate, and Barrow and his people, I mean, they don't want to budge on the term limit.
Right.
And they should budge. For me, they should consider the interests of the country and let Barrow compete for only 2 terms. Okay.
Right.
Now, but if he says that, okay, we see an attitude in him that shows that, well, he knows that the constitution that we are trying to abolish, the 1997, gives him unlimited term, and he's going to definitely prefer that, unlimited terms, unlimited power. Now, we have to now see, okay, fine, what do we do now? What can we do to
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I think Mr. Kurang is kind of like frozen for a bit. Uh, yes. So what he's trying to say is that Barrow concern was the time. I mean, this the time limit, and when they went to Abuja. So the the argument here is that the people who have been to Abuja, they almost agree with most of the things said there, but the time limit was their difference. But if you look at this draft, I think the draft that came, the Attorney General brought to the Parliament, the 2024 draft, there has been some lacking. You know, if you look at the power of the executive, you know, it's more enhanced in that draft. So this is the problem. It's not only the time limit, but the power of the executive, the ministers, they are not required to declare their assets when leaving the office. So these are all things that, you know, kind of worry the citizens. That's why it's very important for this draft constitution issue to be resolved. If Gambians, if we don't do something about this, and then you know, talk to our elected officials, talk to our parliamentarians to make the right decision when this gets to the parliament, we're still going to be in trouble. It looks like this constitution is at the stage now either to be passed or to be left behind. Gambia without a constitution is not going to be good for our unborn children. It's not going to be good for the future of our country because people will come to power and they will stay longer. And what does that tell us? There won't be accountability, transparency, and of course, people will rule accordingly. But once you have time limits, the focus becomes legacy. Every leader that comes in, they think about what am I going to leave behind because they know at a certain point they're going to leave. And they also know that they will face accountability. They can come back to and be audited and commissioned of what they did in office. So that's why it's very important for us to have time limit. Gambia has struggled, you know, many years ago to get this time limit issue resolved. Anytime we have it in our constitution, somebody will take it out. You know, the first draft that before when Drammeh came in, the same thing happened, and he overturned and took this portion out. But the will of the Gambians is to make sure, you know, like that we have everyone serve 2 times, not nothing more. Mr. Kura is here, so welcome back.
Yes, yes, yes. I think I was on the point of addressing the sticking points because I think right now, as far as the country is concerned, you know, it's more of being pragmatic. We need to be pragmatic.
Okay.
With the situation we have. I see a lot of concerns, people saying, oh, the president wants to put in some clauses that are going to protect him. You know, we know these clauses. I mean, the self-interest clauses in a constitution in history never go to protect you once you leave office. You know, exactly. Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi's family or even Yahya Jammeh, they all have protection clauses. I mean, did it protect them?
It did not. It did not.
No, you cannot commit crimes and commit them deliberately and proving to have committed them deliberately and the evidence is available and people will let you go free. No, that doesn't happen anywhere in the world.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, yeah, so people come and say things like, oh, he put in a clause to say that when he leaves office, he's going to be
Yeah, Dr. Kura, I mean, Alhaji Kura wishes again, but what he was saying is that we have to be mindful with the clauses in the Constitution that these leaders put in. When they put in clause that they think that's going to protect them, this is always going to be an issue. There's no clause that's gonna process things once you okay. Go ahead, Mr. Kurang.
Yeah. So I gave you an example. I said no leadership can protect itself of the crimes it committed once it leaves office.
Very good. Why is that? Why is that? Can you explain that?
No, because there is already an inherent law, for example, just a simple one in English law that says that no act passed by a parliament is binding on the next parliament. Do you get that?
Yes, I got that.
So a parliament cannot make a law and then says that this law will continue even when the next parliament comes. That's false. That never happens anywhere in the world.
No, yeah.
So you see, your power to make laws and make those laws to protect you, right, technically only ends after you leave office.
Yeah, but if the other parliament, is interested to carry it over, they could. Right.
Yeah, that if the other parliament is interested, that means the people are interested to carry it over. They can carry it over. But so now the contention comes. If a president protects himself with a law in parliament, and then the next parliament is not interested in that law, what are they gonna do?
Throw it away. Perfect.
They're gonna throw it away. But then these people come and tell you, oh, he's putting this law, like he's writing a Bible or a Quran, which cannot be thrown away. I mean, that's psychological manipulation of the people, right? There is no law that Barrow can put in place that cannot be thrown outside by the Gambian people if they feel that it is necessary when he leaves office.
Even with the presidential package. That's why I was telling people.
There is no law.
So not to worry about.
There is no law.
But then for the Constitution is the entrenched laws, those ones cannot be thrown out like that.
No, even the entrenched laws. Okay, now right now these politicians, they have clouded the debate so much that they don't even want to tell the citizens which law is entrenched, which law is not entrenched. They don't want to talk about that. The people don't know.
Okay.
Even a lot of the pundits on TV have no clue because nobody inside the system, in both parties, want to talk about that because they know if the moment they start talking about that, people say, oh, so the entrenched is only about what? Citizenship and 1, 2, and 3. So what are you people wasting our time for? I mean, this is what's going to happen. So the debate is clouded so that people would not even know which law is. A lot of the pundits who have very strong opinions cannot even tell you which law is, I don't know, which law is entrenched, and that is critical.
Yeah, it's critical because if people know that, now they can their decision on passing of the Constitution or not passing on the Constitution could be easier because those ones we know that those we are fine with those. The other laws that are added could be changed when the government change. So why waste time? Like you said, why waste time? Things like a time limit. Time limit could be changed whenever the government change, right? Because it's not an entrenched law.
Yes. Yeah, that's very important. And this is where the media houses like yourself come in. Because a lot of this, so many of these media houses don't even know what they are doing. So people like you should come up and organize a debate. For example, bring a lawyer, right? A constitutional lawyer, and then tell him what you're going to ask him before he comes. And then when he comes, let him tell you 1, 2, 3 are contentious at the moment. And then out of 1, 2, 3, only 1 and 2 are entrenched and 3 is not entrenched. You see, the debate needs to be redefined.
I agree with you. Go ahead. Yeah, I agree with you.
If this debate is not refined, people will be taken for granted. People are being ransomed. People are being brainwashed, which should not be. Pernjai and Jige Jawara negotiated a constitution more than once, and they did agree, and they were political rivals. So, but we believe that, you know, if the politician takes a negotiation as, I'm not protecting my personal interest, but I'm protecting the country, then clarity becomes easy, and then reaching an agreement becomes easy. But also, if the politician manage to mislead you right now, if you go on online, you say 2020, 2024, people are just killing each other for 2024, 2020, and 2020, 2024. The real issue is, how much do they affect the lives of the people? I mean, without 2020, 2024, there is 1997. So people love 1997 now. People love Jammeh's constitution. So what was the reason? I mean, yeah, I know, we voted him out because he's wicked, but we still love his constitution. Look at the irony. That's a big irony for me. I cannot explain.
Okay, my point here now is that in other words, you are saying even what they call Barrow's constitution is fine if we stick with that just to get it passed.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you come to negotiate, there are one or two things. If you come to negotiate, one or two things. Number one is that you can negotiate on a clean slate, because they know what I mean when I say you can negotiate. They negotiated age limit on a clean slate. They negotiated the protection of the cross-carpeting. They negotiated the conviction clause and all those things. They know those are the key things for them. Right now, for them, all the key things are almost cleared. You understand what I mean? Because if you bring back those things now, what will happen? The whole country will change. If you bring the age limit again, you bring a conviction clause again, you bring a cross carpet again, so many people will lose their positions. So what do you think will happen? Chaos. That will be chaos. So they know what they took care of. Now, what is left? What is left now is term limit, right? And a few...
power of executive, and then some ministers, the certain leverages they have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now those things are they then we have to, when you bring them up, that's why it's necessary for us to debate based on some rules. Now, if we know which one of those are entrenched and which are not entrenched, the debate will become easier. You understand? Because how do I call it? I am not saying that we must accept Barrow. What I am saying is simply, in response to your question, is simply negotiation should take place no matter which constitution is on the table, because at the end of the day, whether it's the 2020 draft, it didn't pass because the negotiation failed. So you still have to negotiate. The 2024 draft, you still have to negotiate. You understand?
But the only problem that when we go to negotiation, based on right now the negotiation, there's still no agreement met. So my point here is that if we decided to go with any of this constitution, we still have, if once the term limit, I think the elephant in the house here is the term limit. Once the term limit is agreed, either to say that Barrow's 2 term would count, or to say it will not count, or only 1 term will count. So once that agreement is flushed out, any other things like the president, I mean the ministers declaring their asset after leaving the office, and all of those things, and certain powers of the executive, those things could be changed in the once somebody else comes to power. Isn't that correct?
Definitely, yes. So that gets back to the point. I mean, the whole issue is about term limit. that is what that was the sticking point in Abuja. They admitted, isn't it?
Yes.
And no, don't forget about those. They are saying 2020 draft, we want 2024 draft, but the whole issue is term limit. That's the most important sticking point.
Would Barrow not do justice to Gambia if he decides to go for third term, knowing that he himself promised 2 terms, and then he's getting to 2 terms. Wouldn't he do no justice to Gambia by trying to take advantage just because the constitution hasn't been passed hasn't yet been passed? What is your answer to that? Yeah, hello. I think Mr. Pura is okay. The easy way out is for Justice Jallo to bring 2022 draft constitution when the Gambians consent. Right. So we're talking about, this is a comment by Ousman Lom. We're talking about the same thing here. Mr. Pura will be back in a few. What the problem here is that, whatever, no matter whatever constitution you bring, if they can agree either behind closed doors or in public, what is the time limit? How is it gonna be implemented? Is it gonna be from the 2 terms that Barrow served? That means Barrow cannot serve for another term, or is it gonna be 1 term, which is starting from 2026 moving forward, or is it gonna start from starting from 2021 moving forward, only 1 term counted, or is it gonna be starting from 2026 moving forward? I think once the stakeholders, the people who have to vote in the parliament already discussed this behind closed doors, I think that time when they come to vote, perhaps we can have a constitution. Because every other thing in that constitution, according to what Mr. Kura is saying, is that those things can change once the government change. So the only way they could stay is like if Borough wins, if we contest again. So I think at this point, the political landscape, how it's looking at, is to get this constitution passed. But if one party, let's say the party led by the Secretary General Hussein Dabo, is UDP, uh, voted or say that they will not have anything to do with 2024 constitution, which is defined as Borough's constitution, then that means, you know there will be some challenges, because if the MPP or the borough's parliamentarian also say they can't go with anything in the 2020 constitution, then we are still in square zero. So at this point, the time limit, which is the determining factor, is the one that needs to be resolved in order to come back to the Gambian people and vote this in the parliament. Like Hussein said, he wants the parliament to make the changes. Yes, the parliament is going to make the changes. Either way, even if Borough's 2024 constitution is the one that put on the center stage, the parliament will have to change, maybe add something or take out something. So, but if they don't agree with this one single thing, which is the term limit, it's still going to have a problem. So either way, it's still going to have a problem. So the best approach is to work this term limit. I think that's why we are focusing on when Mr. Kura just lost the connection. But again, the political landscape of the Gambia, I'm gonna go into a little more details. I mean, a little more other areas right now. So 2026 is right at the corner. We are getting parties. Parties have started to emerge. We have seen Sobea Party by Esafal and Mama Kande, of course, UDP. Is strengthening their muscle. They just won and by election in Kiang, Masembe. That is giving them momentum, even though we have all the MPP, heavyweights there. Still, they lost that election to UDP. So 2026 is looking really, really exciting. The fact that these parties are getting their momentum, and again, the what is at stake this time around is a lot. As we are seeing the cost of living in the Gambia, people are not able to afford food. They can't afford living. Everything is really hard. Jobs are not available for youth. We are having trouble with deportation. Many youths are getting deported from Europe and other countries, United States and other places. And these youths are not getting settled in the Gambia in a way that will help them and their family. We're having rising crime. People are carrying guns now, armed robberies. We are having people attacking their in their homes. So these are all issues that Gambia is facing. We're having drugs problem. As you can see, this cruise is killing a lot of youths, taking their mental health out of shape and taking a toll out of their bodies. We have seen backway travel. Many people are perishing, dying in the sea in search of greener pastures. This shouldn't have done. This shouldn't have been done if our country is in good shape. If we have a good leadership, if we have leaders that can create jobs, that can help private sector create jobs, that can have laws in place, manage our funds better, have good government, small government. If we have leaders who have the insight of innovation, creativity, trying to use what they have and to build on bigger things that can create um, things we can export. If you look at Gambia this year, the groundnut, what we call peanut harvest, still some sectors are not getting folks are not getting their money after submitting their harvest. The fertilizers issue, the crops, are not getting enough fertilizers. The landmark is not getting enough fertilizers to harvest good crops. And agriculture has been, like has been really neglected. We now trying to feed from foreign sources, foreign harvest, things foods that are not good for our bodies. We're getting a lot of sickness in the Gambia, of course, because of this imported food that was manufactured in China, India,
Sorry about that. I think I was muted. We have this this medicine that were brought to the country without proper supervision. In the health sector, they haven't done their job, and this has killed 66 kids. We still have issue with our education. Uh, I- College students are graduating without a job. Look at the Gambia College. Look at the university. How many people are coming out, and then they still have to do manual jobs that they never studied for, because of why there is no job creation methodologies. Um, there are no plans in place. You know, there's no advices around the president and his entire cabinet in order to how to boost our economy. We haven't get like people are just focusing on themselves. How to fatten their pocket, how to go and talk in this political stage and talk about lies about things that don't exist just because they want to fulfill those positions. So a lot of problems happening in the Gambia. A lot of things are at stake. Our youth needs ways how to enhance their knowledge and skills and be proud of themselves and be creative. It's not like everybody has to travel. If people are traveling is the only mechanism, who's going to be left in the country? So these are areas that need to be tackled in the next government. And as we are seeing the political landscape, um, where is the promise? Who is out there who is ready to do this job? I mean, who has the track record in terms of like leadership, in terms of like which party has the commitment and has demonstrated that they can deliver for the Gambian people, because this cannot just be out of the blue. You must have a track record. You must have the integrity. You must have the knowledge to be able to deliver and the vision. And this is what is said to the voters. So now we have 2026 around the corner. Each party is muscling up their base, and then they're trying to see how they can be able to win this election. But again, before we get to that part where we're gonna vote, we need this constitution. So the next person coming will not take advantage of what this government has taken advantage of. Because this government right now, the last time that Barrow came out and they say that he's gonna contest for third term, he has basically no excuse. The excuse that he had was just his party is too young and he don't want it to die. But how can you trade that in the benefit to trade that the benefit of your party to the whole existence of the nation's interest? Because the nation's interest is that every 2 term we need a new president. But you are saying because your party is at the baby stage, infant stage, you don't want it to die. So where is the Gambian? Where is the interest of the Gambian people? You are putting your party interest and your individual interest in front of the Gambian interest. Is that what we call patriotism? So these are all things that in our political landscape is a challenge that we need to look at and be realistically looking at the future of the country. Otherwise, we are heading nowhere. And again, Mr. Kurang is definitely not able to connect back. I'm gonna end this program, but I just want to say this to our viewers. Everybody who is in the Gambia or outside the Gambia or has Gambia's interest in heart, let us work towards changing the entire system, the way the country is governed, the system we operate, our philosophies. Let Gambian people sit down and reflect back and see what we need to change in our society. Sometimes when we change our thinking patterns, our whole entire life changes. Well, let's look at each other as brothers and sisters and know that our own individual interests could be, on top of the national interest. Once we have common interests taken care of, our individual interest follows. But when we put our individual interests at first, then the country's interest vanishes. There is no interest among, when it comes to united front. So without a united front, we can have the Gambia that we need. So let's look at that. Everybody can be independently successful, but collectively to be successful as a nation, that requires a whole lot of transition, a whole lot of sensitization, a whole lot of coming together and know what is at stake. And that's why this election 2026 is a lot at stake. So I recommend everybody who is outside, the diaspora, everybody who is in the Gambia, everybody who is a friend of Gambia, to do what it takes, and let's educate one another. That's what this platform is for, and make sure that we do the right thing for our unborn children, for the generations to come, because action today reflects action tomorrow. So guys, my folks, everybody dropped out because of lack of connectivity and engagement, but we're gonna close the show here, and I would thank you so much for being following. Gambia is definitely a place, one person said we need systematical reform. Definitely that's what we need, and we need a leadership that is conscious of that, not conscious of fattening your pocket, because this is just a matter of time. Everything in life is time. You spend the time and then you're gone. So if you're looking at the time that you spend, what about when you're gone? Then what is coming after you? Because each government transitions to another one. The government before is actually dictating the government currently. The government currently would dictate the government next. So if this government fails, that means the next government will find difficulties to bounce back and start to be successful. But if this government succeed, the next one would be having a cousin to work on with that momentum. So we thank all of you for watching. Again, share this show. I mean, it's very important for our well-being, for our nation. And again, contribute on the comment section, and then get involved with national building. So this is the landscape of our political system. We will have our guests come back again sometime, Mr. Alhaji Mamadi to come back and we have another discussion like that. But thank you for watching. Sam is off, and then Famara, they had some engagement, but I'm your host here, Momodou Sawaneh. I thank you, Ramadan Mubarak. Thank you.